Yeah, I play Lamar. I don't know, man.
Beautiful South Florida. There's a look at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
It's
It's a
foggy
big
or is it
weekend for
raining? Oh, I was about to say it just look man foggy out there.
as it'll be the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Miami Dolphins. Hi, everyone. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. Charles, you look at the Dolphins as they enter play in this one. They come in riding high, just one loss in their last 7 games.
It's a very focused team, very disciplined. They put the
Mm.
penalties to bed, and they're winning football games.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Ravens, they've been
It's
playing
not
well
under
this
your
year.
stuff over there.
5 of their last 7, losers last time out. About set to begin another week of football, and happy to have you along. We are underway on Thursday night prime time. And he won't quite make it to the 25. Here comes the Ravens on offense, and the man in charge from Louisville, the former MVP, Lamar Jackson.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets. The bottom line, how do they get a win?
A run once more with Hampton. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. The numbers for him from a week ago: 14 carries, 56 yards.
Well, obviously he didn't have a great deal of time between games, having to turn around on a short week and get ready for Thursday night football. But he said in pregame he was feeling pretty good and felt more recovered from last week's contest than he would have expected. Didn't seem to think this short week was going to affect him much as he chases a big performance here in prime time.
And he stopped immediately there. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaking up on the play. We'll get an update when we come back to Miami. 3rd and 3. Try to run for it with Hampton. Gets past one man. And he will have a Ravens first down, and he was able to get it by plenty. A gain of 8 on 3rd and 3. From midfield now, here's Jackson. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. From the 47 now, to work with a 2nd and 7. Here's Jackson to throw. He gets it to Johnston. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 19. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
Baltimore first down. A gain of 27 on the play. And a Raven first down.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Give here to Hampton. Looking to find a lane, but he can't. Reined in at the line of scrimmage. Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11.
At the 20-yard line.
Jackson. He'll get this one complete to Atwell. 3rd and 8.
It's a gain of 2 yards.
To throw is Jackson. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
What an excellent defensive stand there in the red zone. Nice tight coverage. They certainly recognized how important it was to bring up 4th down here.
A 34-yard attempt.
Gano's kick is good. And the Ravens strike first at 3-zip.
Ravens 3.
And all in all, a pretty decent opening drive, Charles. Pretty balanced. They had the passing game going and the rushing attack, too.
I would think they have to be happy with that start because you get your ground game going, which means your offensive line and your runners are pretty happy, and then you get your aerial attack going as well. So your quarterback and receivers have smiles on their faces. Now both up to speed, awaiting their next possessions for this game. They can't wait to get started again.
So here come the Dolphins now as they get set to offense. And they will be led out by their second-year quarterback.
Brandon, it's always nice when you get recognized with an individual award. And he was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week last week. But when you do it in a win, so much the better.
Absolutely. And he was all talking about that win, not so much the award he received on Wednesday.
That's a nice-looking award. I wonder if he took it home, got out of the car, showed it off to the kids in the neighborhood, passed it around. I wonder what he did with it.
Devontae Wyatt there for the stop.
4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
Looking to throw is Williams. That's complete to the rookie from Colorado. Loose inside the 30. And finally taken down at the 20-yard line. It's a big play there for Miami. 48 yards.
As a general manager, you're counting on your first and second round draft picks to have a big-time impact on your team. But where you make your bones, rounds 3 through 7. If you can find a few diamonds in the rough there, develop them, then you've got something going, and we're seeing one right here.
Yeah, plays like that lead me to believe that they found a diamond in the rough. And he'll do a nice job here just to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. What a difference a play makes. A huge step forward and now a small step back as he loses a yard or two. So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on 2nd down and 11. Once again, it's Genty. And able to fight forward inside the 15 to the 13. Now a pause, and there's an injured Raven in need of some assistance. We'll get an update when we come back to Hard Rock Stadium. Here's 3rd and 3. To throw, it's Williams. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. And Mitchell, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Dolphins have answered that early field goal to take a first-quarter lead. Extra point, Cameron Dicker. He's got it. They'll see that opening drive field goal and raise it a touchdown, and that makes it 7-3. Here's Dicker now as he'll send this one away. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. The Ravens offense and their quarterback coming out for their 2nd drive. And he's been a real threat in the red zone and beyond. As you take a look at the NFL leaders in rushing touchdowns by a QB, you'll notice he's worked his way into the top 5 at this point in the season. They'll start it out with a run by Hampton. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Baltimore, first down. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line.
Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. I also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. Raven football here as we begin quarter number 2. They had to settle for 3 last drive, hoping this second go-around ends in 6. In good position, 1st and 10. And just good downhill running there as he'll take this to the 15-yard line. That's over 40 yards of movement with those last 2 plays. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
15-yard line.
Now it's Jackson. He'll dump this off to Hampton, complete. And a nice job to break free of one tackle, but it slowed his momentum somewhat, and he's taken down right after.
2 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and
Jackson from the shotgun. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Hill. 3rd and 2.
It's a gain of 6. And it's 3rd down.
Now it's Jackson. And this is caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. 2-2 Atwell from 6 yards away. And the Ravens have retaken the lead. Well executed there offensively. Defense looked a little confused, but he found his receiver, and that one good for 6 points.
And the payoff we just saw there tells us how many times they ran this play in practice over the past few weeks, because they executed that flawlessly right here on game day when the situation arose.
Extra point try good by Gano. And the lead is now 10-7.
10. Dolphins 7.
That time a 6-play drive. And it's capped off with a Ravens touchdown. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Well, a dangerous return man showing it here. And he's going to take this all the way down inside the 40.
I know the special teams coach will not permit himself a smile here, but inside he's glowing. This is what he practices for. This is what he schemes. This is what he watches tape to put himself and his team in a position to score points. An absolute dream return.
The Dolphins offense and Caleb Williams set to go to work once more. And he's been a real threat, not just with the arm, but as well. NFL's leader amongst quarterbacks in terms of rushing touchdowns. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Up the middle, it's Genty. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and no more. Marte Mapu, the one to bring him down.
2nd and 10.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
To the air, Williams. Pass complete, George Pickens with it. They get 6, that'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Makes it 3rd and 4.
Here's Williams. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7.
4 yards. And the Dolphins first down. First and goal.
On first down is Genty. And he's going to ball his way into the end zone for the Dolphins score. Ashton Genty with now 15 rushing touchdowns on the year. And the Dolphins have taken the lead.
Sometimes you get a 1st and goal and you're back near the 7, 8, 9-yard line, and you start thinking, maybe we'll run it here on 1st down to get half of what we need, so maybe we can have 2 or 3 shots at going for it from closer range. So this is a bonus right here. What a great run to work his way into the end zone.
Now to tack on the extra point. And that makes it 14-10. So that drive, 4 plays. And in the end, it's capped off by a 7-yard run. So after the touchdown, here's Dicker out to kick this one off. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. They're behind in the first half here, CD, but it's not through any fault of their running back. He's had a strong start to this one.
And you're right about that, partner, because watching him play, You would think that his team is in the lead. He has been a lot of fun in this contest. Now let's see if they can actually make something happen, put more points on the board behind his efforts.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, Charles, if they can play complementary football and get that passing game going as well. Again, it's Hampton. And he'll get this up to about the 40. 60 yards rushing for him now to this point. The offense on third down tonight, they've been okay. 2 for 3 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Jackson's going to try the sneak. And he will have a Ravens first down. At least it would appear that way. He didn't get it by much, but yes, they do get the conversion on 3rd and 1.
A gain of a yard. First down, Ravens.
They go play action now. Jackson. Now he'll tuck this and run.
Lamar Jackson scrambles from the
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football.
second and 1 at the 49-yard.
Just need a yard here. 2nd and 1. And now Jackson will look to throw it. Now he's going to step up and run. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. Complete to Johnston here. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays. So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Jackson. Now a run here off the RPO. He'll keep it. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Lamar Jackson, an 18-yard touchdown run. And the Ravens will take the lead here in the final minute of the first half. Gano the extra point, and it's now 17-14. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. A slim deficit here in a 1 possession. Not much time left, obviously. We'll see if they can march this down the field, at least get 3 and take some momentum into the locker room. To throw, Williams. They'll try and set up the screen to Genty. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down. And you see the clock almost empty, so this is likely the last play in the second quarter. Now a handoff to Genty. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. So halftime is upon us on Thursday night prime time, and we go off to Orlando. And Scott Hansen for our halftime report.
All right, Brandon, thanks much. Scott Hansen with you from the EA Studios in Orlando. This has been a heck of a game so far. Just a field goal separating these 2 squads. You have to imagine both sides are trying to figure out how to clean things up and put some touchdowns up in the second half. Let's find out what goes on in the third quarter. Back out to the stadium and our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Scott, we thank you as always, and we'll see what happens here in the second half. A field goal the difference. 17-14 is the score. Back underway here now in this third quarter. Fighting through at the 25. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. The Dolphins offense and their quarterback headed out for this next possession. And he continues to show up. To run the football when the opportunity is right. He is the NFL leader in rushing yards from the QB position. First down Miami as they get set to start the drive. Charles, in that first effort, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Dayon Henley. Guys will take over at the 30-yard line. On first down, it's Hampton.
Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Jackson now. Over the middle, complete. That's Hampton. He'll be dropped at the 25 after a gain of 6.
It's a gain of 6.
Here's Jackson. Now he'll tuck this. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down.
Jackson sacked. A loss of 3 yards. 3 and out.
Gano's kick is good. And they stretch the lead to 6. It's 20-14 now.
20.
So the interception set him up with terrific field position, but 3 points, the end result.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner. You always want to end drives with points, but that's one that you're going to look back on and probably say, we should have done better there.
And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. Miami set to take over. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory reception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
Successful start to the drive, 17 yards, and moves the sticks.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball in the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. 62 yards rushing for him now as his fine rookie season continues. Pretty explosive run on that inside handoff, and when you're a runner of his caliber, you don't need a big crease.
You really don't, but also what we're seeing is an offensive line that's taking charge at the point of attack, aren't we? Not only are they controlling the initial contact, they're actually utilizing what they call the strain, the next 2 to 3 seconds, to continue to move people.
Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he is going to lose yardage here. A completion, yes, but certainly not what they wanted. A loss of a full 6 yards.
Well, Brandon, we could see that play developing, and they were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. But no such luck. The speed on defense continues to get better and better in the NFL. Pretty nice example there of those guys being able to run from their assignments and finish off that play.
Working downfield, he's got Thornton. And they do get him down, but not before he's able to slip it inside the 5-yard line.
22 yards. That's another Dolphins first down.
Throwing is Williams. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. To give you an idea of how accurate he's been throwing the football, we're in the second half. That's just his second incompletion.
Well, if he's that locked in, that means everyone's locked in, because to me it's like throwing a no-hitter.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Caleb Williams taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Dolphins are an extra point away from taking the lead.
Well, I'd have to say that for him, that was an all-encompassing drive because it was his arm that got his team down. But his legs that finished the deal. Give him credit for making it happen.
Extra point up and good by Dicker. And that will put them on top here in the third.
Ravens 20.
Now after the Dicker field goal, he's back out ready to send it away. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. The Ravens offense back out there. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through. But that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Here now, a 3rd down and 8. Now Jackson. It fights him off. Skirts by him at the 35. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. You can just kind of sense the momentum turning here. It's 1st and 10. Up the middle, it's Hampton. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss.
Brings up 2nd and 11 at their 48-yard line.
Throwing is Jackson. And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Looking to throw. Jackson. He's got his target. That's complete. And he's got another 1st down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 39. 12 yards to pick up there. Good for a Raven first.
A gain of 12. 1st down, Baltimore.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 39-yard line. They'll work inside here. Hampton. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. 4th quarter coming up here on Thursday Night Primetime. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Miami. And we've got a dandy here. A 1-point game as we begin the 4th. Now an option play on 2nd down. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. If they get nothing else here on 3rd down, it'd be a 53-yard attempt from this spot. Short throw caught by Bowers. And he's got another 1st down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 25-yard line. Give him 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward.
1st and 10 at the 25-yard line.
Zone read, a give to Hampton. This will be a short gain of 3 before he's brought down at the 22.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
Every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on 1st down. The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've hit on 6 of their 8 tries. Very good. This will be 3rd and 6. Jackson going to keep it. Oh, no, they lost the football. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line.
Recovered by the offense.
Both teams working on short rest, but this has been one of the better Thursday night games we've seen as they come up here on 1st and 10. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And that, nearly picked off. It would have been a great time for their first interception of the game. Instead, it's 2nd down.
2nd and 10.
Here's Jackson to throw. Over the middle, hooks up with the tight end Bowers. As big of a play as we've had in this one so far. This is 3rd and 3.
Brings up 3rd
Jackson.
and 3.
This is caught. Just a gain of a couple there. And that'll bring up 4th down.
A 20-yard attempt.
Gano's kick is good.
And they have taken the lead here in the fourth quarter. So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. Looking to put a drive together. They'll start on the ground with Ginty. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. 68 yards rushing for him now in the ball game. Ball on the 28-yard line. Here's a 2nd and 4. Oh, he's got him in wide open, complete. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. And you get the sense, as I'm sure they got the sense, they might have picked up a good one here, maybe a little diamond in the rough via trade.
Maybe just need a change in scenery, a new city, maybe different motivation, but they believe they've got a good one.
And he's going to be brought down inside the 45 at the 43.
A gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 1.
Here's 2nd and a yard. They'll go again with Ginty. And a good push up front, and he's able to navigate his way down inside the 30.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. They come up on a 1st and 10, desperately needing a score here on what could be their final drive. Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. Now they go screen, it's complete. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. I guess at the very least, they got the tackle from keeping him out of the end zone.
Yeah, you're looking for that silver lining, aren't you? But guess what? Everything changes now after that big play. They've got a chance to strike.
Ginty. Oh, he's going absolutely nowhere as he is hit behind the line. Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. Back to throw. Williams, and he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. Caleb Williams with his 3rd touchdown and 18th on the year. And the Dolphins have moved out in front here in the 4th quarter. Point try now from Dicker. And the lead is up to 5. So this drive spans 7 plays. And it's capped off by a touchdown run of 6 yards. Quick move by Miller. And able to get this out to the 25. The Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson set to take over once again. And this defense has got to be at its wits' end, trying to come up with ways to keep him contained. He's had so many opportunities to tuck it and go, and he's turned a number of those opportunities into big plays. He's got Atwell. That's complete. The Ravens going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. Here's Jackson. This one complete to his fullback out of the backfield. And he's going to get out of bounds with the 1st down. So an ideal set of circumstances there. They move the chains, and they save that final timeout. Throwing, Jackson. Throws left side, Atwell's got it. Here comes 2nd down and 5.
A gain of 5. brings up 2nd and 5.
And with just over 40 seconds now remaining, he gets up and spikes it.
What a kickoff to the week this has been. Now a big play. It's 3rd down.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he's got another 1st down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 29-yard line. Ravens going to use their 3rd and final timeout. It's complete on the bubble screen. That's Walker.
They'll come up now on 2nd down.
A gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 1 at the 21.
So there's the spike as it comes with 23 seconds to go.
A big play here as the crowd noise rises. 3rd and 1. Jackson to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3.
That's another.
And the spike comes with 9 seconds left to go.
2nd down, goal to go. Now Jackson.
And he's got it. It's caught for a touchdown. And they have taken the lead here in the final seconds.
Touchdown, Ravens.
Charles, that drive was perfect. Methodical, executed so well, and they grabbed that lead with almost no time left for a last gasp from the other side.
No way you could have drawn up a better final drive, because not only did they keep their eyes on the end zone, they made sure they bled the clock out as well and denied their opponent a chance to respond. That's just terrific situational football to end this one.
Here's the kick unit now for the Ravens as they'll send this one away.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And makes it across the... Guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. They'll come up 1st and 10 here.
And a timeout comes in. The whistles blow with 3 seconds remaining.
Here's 1st down.
One final shot. They'll look to throw. They've got his man complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
Well, it took us until the final play, Charles, to officially decide a winner, although on that last play they were so backed up it would have taken a miracle. And